crawling around on the ground. Obviously mind control. He was set up. That's what they do. They give you an amnesiac, some trigger word if you've already been programmed. I mean, this was declassified in the 70s by Frank Church in the Church Committee in the Senate. MK Ultra, MK Naomi, and others. It's way more advanced than that. You want to see what it's like? Denzel Washington's remake of the Manchurian Candidate is dead on. Dead on. Dead on. That's exactly how this works. But they don't even do that. They can just get you in with a psychiatrist when you're already in the system, get you on some drugs. They monitor you. They decide you're the right candidate. You're handed off to a handler. They drug you up for the event, then tell you run after you wake up. You don't know what happened, and then you end up going to a Supermax prison, never to talk to the media again in case you ever piece it all together. I'm not saying that happened, but it's real.
We don't have all the facts, but we do know that, once again, innocent people were killed in part because someone who wanted to inflict harm had no trouble getting their hands on a gun. Now is the time for mourning and for healing. But let's be clear. At some point, we as a country will have to reckon with the fact that this type of mass violence does not happen in other advanced countries. It doesn't happen in other places with this kind of frequency.
Nope, not with guns, but with baseball bats and knives, higher.
And it is in our power to do something about it.
England has 3 times the violent crime rate of the U.S.
I say that recognizing the politics in this town foreclose a lot of those avenues right now.
This is live.
But it'd be wrong for us not to acknowledge it.
Within hours of it happening,
and at some
9
point,
dead.
it's going to
The
be
president is out addressing it to hype it.
Come to grips with it.
Yeah, come to grips. With you giving weapons to Al-Qaeda in Libya and Syria and Egypt to kill hundreds of thousands.
The issue of gun violence collectively.
And missiles to them.
The fact that this took place in a black church obviously also raises questions about a dark part of our history. This is not the first time that black churches have been attacked. And we know that hatred across races and faiths pose a particular threat to our democracy and our ideals. The good news is I am confident that
folks, this is it. They've been hyping race war, pushing it as hard as they can, saying the NRA is the new KKK, even though the NRA was founded in part, 50-50, to arm blacks in the South who were being disarmed. In fact, there were calls by liberal groups to disarm whites particularly today, and I just want to point out that that's been done before, but to blacks. In the South, the first gun laws were against blacks. And then when blacks migrated north to Chicago, New York, and D.C., they passed the most draconian laws in the country to disarm blacks. And that's why, you've got, last number I saw was 14 blacks a week are being shot almost exclusively by other blacks and killed in Chicago. You're not going to see a press conference from the president on that or on the 51% of blacks that were never born. You're going to hear them now say gun ownership, as Michael Moore has been saying, gun ownership is about racist white people. And you go, that doesn't make sense. What's it do with race? They're going to push it now. You see, it's not about the killer, the alleged killer, killing people, whether he'd used a bomb or a truck or whatever. No, it's the gun did it, and if you've got guns, you want to kill black people. No, the answer is, if I was a black senator especially, or a senator, period, and I gave speeches in public, you better bet your bottom dollar I'd be carrying a concealed handgun. But see, folks don't carry their guns to church, and they should. Let's go back to the president. Can't believe I'm saying he's the president, the traitor-in-chief.
Members of their own communities, but to all in need. They opened their doors to strangers who might enter a church in search of healing or redemption. Mother Emanuel Church and its congregation have risen before.
He is so upset right now. He cares so much.
From an earthquake
about black people.
Mother dark times.
That's why they
hope to
doubled
generations
the
of
unemployment rate of blacks in
Bostonians.
7 years.
And with our prayers and our love and the buoyancy of hope, it will rise again now as a place of peace.
See, they can take this event, just like a shark attack, super rare, but when it happens, it's huge news, and they can hype it, and then you can bet your bottom dollar there will be other racist, crazy people that will go out and attack blacks now, and vice versa. Racist, crazy black people will go out and do the same thing. And we just barrel towards the summer with every historical analyst, financial analyst, cultural analyst saying this summer is going to be explosive, probably going to have a race war. Matt Drudge said we could see the fall of America. America is being set up for a fall, and out of that, the new socialist nightmare. And again, George Soros financed right-wingers that had a beef with the Russian groups, and some of them were legitimate beefs on both sides, to then bring that country down, and now look where they are, basically in flames, and in a major depression, being financially looted. And George Soros is in there funding this whole Black Lives Matter situation to get it going, and pointing out a lot of real things that are wrong and are happening, police brutality, you name it, towards this cultural crisis that they will then hold the whole country hostage with to accept tyranny. Remember what Al Sharpton said, we need to federalize all the police. We'll be back with the latest on the Charlton shooting, because this shows you where we're going. The globalists are conquering the whole planet right now. They are announcing in Europe that they're going to start freezing the general population's bank accounts and not allowing you to take out your deposits. That's mainstream news. They're announcing all over the world forced inoculations to begin outside of law. They are announcing planetary carbon taxes. Planetary government is being promoted by the Pope. And you'd think the #1 story in the world is the tragic, cold-blooded murder of 9 black people in Charleston. Stalin said 1 man dies is a tragedy, 10,000 die, it's a statistic. And it's true. How many is it? How many black abortions? 14 million? 15 million? People don't care that were black children. Innocent. Cold-blooded murder, chopped up. But we're not supposed to care about that. We're supposed to get upset only when Obama comes out and says we should get upset, and only when the police come out and say this is tragic and cold-blooded and horrible. And I get why they said that. But when illegal aliens murder and kill on a daily basis, it's kept out of the news because it's politically incorrect to point out that's going on. And they mainly kill other Hispanics. So the media decides when to hype something up. If 2 guys break out of prison, they have half a state manhunt, martial law in multiple towns, searching every house at gunpoint, just like Boston. It's a big story. You let 36,000 violent illegal aliens with felonies out, it's no big deal. Don't even deport them. 9 black people are killed, and they wrenchingly break down every single angle of it, rubbing salt in the wound with this whole background that there's this war on black people, and there is, through abortion, through socialism, through dependency, through weaponization of hip-hop, through the media. But see, never look at the real attack. Forget 14, 15 million dead blacks, 9 dead black people. We've got to get the church as a country together to call for restricting the Second Amendment, because the Second Amendment is racist. The NRA is the new KKK. These are the talking points you've heard for years, and now you see the plan to get the guns unfolding. I'll guarantee you, if I was a senator that gave public speaking engagements, I would have bodyguards, and I would be packing a gun. And if this guy really did it, which he may have, this alleged coward, he went to where he thought there'd be disarmed people, in a church, in a school, at a convention center. I've told you, churches, schools, that's where the shooters are going to target. But see, if they have ISIS hit, people will say, why'd you leave the border open? Why'd you fund ISIS? So instead, oh, this convenient person pops up. Is he mind control like Sirhan Sirhan? I don't know. Or like the Batman shooter? If it comes out he's being handled by an Air Force psychiatrist and was in a DARPA brain interface program and told people in the jail he's under mind control and woke up in a car somewhere like McVeigh, then I'll say might be a false flag. Right now, too early to tell. And the way the media kind of was flat-footed at first means they weren't all ready to go with this. But they're still not wasting time, and Obama's now out setting the narrative. You know, we need to grieve, we need to investigate, but this is guns. See, and this is racism. Merging the two together to now make it cultural that guns are racist. Let me explain something. Can we bring the Barrett 50 cals in here, if Weldon can get those? You know, one is brown and the other is black. So see, I discriminate when it comes to guns. I like them black, or I like them brown, or I like them green, like the Incredible Hulk. I don't like shiny chrome ones, and I've even seen, like, for, I guess, no warfare, they've got white bodies that go on guns. You know, I'm kind of discriminatory. I don't like white guns. But I'll assure you, my Barrett 50 caliber rifles have never been used in any murders, period. No, not mine. The 50 cal itself has never been used in a murder. It's been used in one crime. And there are hundreds of thousands of the Barrett alone in circulation in the U.S. In fact, it was 50 caliber rifles that the SWAT team in Dallas used, or a suburb did, to stop that armored vehicle last weekend. We're 330 million people. There's going to be shootings. There's going to be car wrecks. There's going to be shark attacks. There's going to be bee attacks. There's going to be deer jumping out in front of your car. People die. Things happen. Anyone that sells the idea that they can take your freedom to keep you safe wants to enslave you, period. So is it a false flag? I don't know. Are they pushing to destroy the Second Amendment with this? You bet. Are they building and hyping civil unrest and a war against local government so the feds can come in to federalize as the peacekeeper and conquer the states this summer? Absolutely. In fact, can you guys cue up Al Sharpton from a month ago saying we need to federalize all the police? Well, the Fed itself has been captured, and then it's game over. And then the feds can direct the local police to persecute you for your political beliefs. And that'll magnify the corruption of the Justice Department hundreds of times. Here is Al Sharpton, in case you're wondering what the motive is. Disarming the public, federalizing local government. Here it is.
We've been fighting them all over the country, which is why we're going to do this march from here to Washington. We need the Justice Department to step in and take over policing in this country. In the 20th century, they had to fight states' rights and to get the right to vote. We're going to have to fight states' rights in terms of closing down police cases. Police must be held accountable. I don't think all police are bad. I don't even think most are bad. But those that are need to be held accountable.
And the answer is federalizing them. It's always the answer. As if the feds aren't corrupt, as if they don't persecute people, as if there aren't bad groups in there. I mean, at the top, it's completely corrupt. My God, they ran fast and furious. I forgot about Sirhan. Sirhan being a false flag with JFK's brother, RFK. The Batman shooting, clearly staged. McVeigh, clearly drugged. I mean, that was in the Oklahoma newspaper. That was on the national news that McVeigh was crawling around the ground, foaming at the mouth, drugged. Look it up. Saying to the state police, I've got a chip, it burns, get it out. And then weird medical procedures were done once he got to the prison. And then they had Jolyon West, the #2 most famous mind control doctor in U.S. history, the protege of Dr. Ewing Cameron, who ran Project MK Ultra. with kidnapped school